mean, at this point, there's nowhere for him to go. Verticality? He just powers right.
What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So, yes, the Lakers lose their first preseason game. It's like 1-7 or something like that. So it's going to be a lot of preseason games. But, of course, none of the top players, for LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo, a lot of veterans didn't play. Anthony Davis did play for a little bit, but he needs to get some of his rhythm down, especially since he missed a lot of games last year. So he didn't look too bad. Everyone else, especially like the younger guys, Kendrick Nunn and Malik Monk, looked pretty well, played pretty well. It's just kind of weird. It's like that article was saying it's nice, like bolt of youth or a jolt of youth that Lakers have coming off the bench or whatever. But it's like two of like maybe 3 or 4 total young guys that they have on the team that they're gonna have to, I guess, trust on to come off the bench whenever the starters are either too injured or too tired because of how old and veteran they are. But hopefully that's not the case, and they can make a trade or two to get a little bit younger, or all these older guys know how to play well enough to win. But yeah, they also mentioned like Talen Horton-Tucker's potential. I mean, he might have started this game, but it's not like, I don't think he is going to start the regular season, in my opinion. And to give a guy that much money coming off the bench, I mean, I don't know. He has to really hit, whether it's his three-point shooting has to be more consistent or just his playmaking. He has to do one or the other. I know they're trying to get him to be like multifaceted and try to be able to do everything, but for a young guy that's like that, who wasn't really traditionally like that, it's gonna be a while. And I know a guy like Alex Caruso who wanted to come back, and I know the GM Pelinka wanted him to come back as well, but why didn't you just give him the money if you needed a guy coming off the bench to do what you want Talen Horton-Tucker to do? I just don't get it, but I guess we'll wait and see how it goes. But yeah, not really worrying about this loss, so we'll see how the rest of the preseason ends up going. Then USC's top recruit coming in next season actually for football, Damani Jackson, was on the sideline for the big modern day St. John Bosco Orange County football game in high school. It's one of the top games, but I believe modern day won his team even though he was out. He had surgery, looked like around his knee. I'm assuming and hoping that he'll be ready to go whenever he gets to college. And as of right now, yes, it is still USC that he is committed to, but of course teams like Alabama and Michigan are trying to get him to get to their school, so they're recruiting him really hard. It sucks, but hopefully he does make a decision in December, and hopefully it is the correct one in USC. But I know his friend Will Johnson is actually committed to Michigan right now, and I don't know, hopefully that doesn't sway him too much. Then speaking of USC, yes, on Saturday they were able to beat Colorado, which obviously it's a team that they had to take advantage of because they were struggling, and luckily USC's defense played well and the offense looked like it was clicking for the most part. Missed a couple points. They should have had dropped like 40 or 50 points on this team, but only giving up around 10 points. It's nice. A couple takeaways here and there for the defense. Once again, Drake London is just going off. I mean, this guy, he's definitely, in my opinion, a Biletnikoff Awards finalist even before the list comes out, just because of how crazy his stats have been. I mean, and a Biletnikoff is an award at the end of the season given to the top wide receiver in the country, and as of his stats right now, he is going pretty crazy. I think he's averaging like 10 receptions a game, 150 plus yards a game, and at least 1 touchdown a game. There was one game where he did not have one, where everybody struggled, but other than that, he's been getting at least 1 or 2 in each game, and definitely around 100 yards, close to 150 every time. And yeah, it's just been great to see the type of player he's become, especially when he was mostly considered like a 2 or 3 star athlete coming in, because they didn't know how much he was going to play for both football and basketball. And he's turned into, from a pretty talented wide receiver his first couple years, to now a really good outside X receiver. And it's just crazy where they could line him up. That's why I think he could be a better player in the next level in the NFL, because you could just line him up anywhere. He knows how to block. Definitely going to be a first round pick in my opinion, or should be. But yeah, it's been good so far. I know USC gets Utah this weekend. Utah is always a challenging team, but USC, it's another game USC should win, but I don't know. We'll find out. Then, yes, before the game yesterday, Monday night, the Chargers did place a couple key players on defense on IR. The linebacker Kenneth Murray, their second-year talented linebacker, and then their defensive tackle is like a 3-year player, Justin Jones. Both guys are starting for them, but they had to put them on IR, so they will miss at least the next 3 to 4 games. And I just thought it's kind of tough for them heading into the game right there with 2 of their best guys down, but luckily they were able to pull out the W on Monday night. They, of course, were the Chargers' way. It wouldn't be a Chargers game without them getting up 21-0 around, I forget if it was halftime or right after halftime, and then allowing the Raiders to get back into the game, and where it was 21-14. Luckily, the defense stepped up at pretty certain particular times, and the Chargers were able to get a late touchdown, kill a lot of the clock, and then ended up getting an interception with a couple minutes left by Derwin James, and they were able to run out the clock again as well to officially seal it. It's great to see. They're able to take down the top team in the AFC. Everybody thinks last week in the Kansas City Chiefs, and then they were able to still take down the lone undefeated team in the AFC West, the Raiders. So now the Chargers are the number 1 team in the AFC West, even though they are tied record-wise 3-1 with Denver and the Raiders. But to me, they're number 1 because division record-wise, they have 2 wins compared to the Raiders having 1 loss and Denver not even having a division win yet. So yeah, overall, pretty successful weekend, especially when both my teams, the Chargers and USC, win, and then also both Notre Dame and UCLA lose for college. That's always great for me, so I was definitely happy about that. Definitely happy one of my rivals, the Raiders, went down as well. Luckily we had to do that ourselves, but yeah, overall it was great. It was kind of a big night for Joey Bosa. He ended up getting a sack there, a sack fumble, and that made him have 50 career sacks. He's definitely one of the quicker guys to get it for the Chargers, but now he's 6th all-time on the list of career sacks, which is pretty crazy. Already he has that, but hopefully he could be at the top of the list, because that means he's doing his job and doing a good job at it. Then also, Bosa had some talking to do after the game. He mentioned something like it was easy to get into Derek Carr's head because once they started blitzing him and pressuring him, then he became shook or wasn't able to play well. But that's kind of Derek Carr's career. Once you figure him out, then you can kind of get the victory. But he also made some comments again about the refs. He has been doing that. I don't think he has been fined, but because this was a Monday night game and he's ripping the refs after it, he's probably gonna get fined. Hasn't been fined yet as of Tuesday morning, but yeah, there were a lot of bad calls, especially on one of the later, I think it was one of the later touchdowns by the Raiders, or when they were trying to score. He got held pretty bad, and it was a blatant call, and they didn't decide to make it a penalty on the Raiders. So yeah, they've been missing a lot of bad calls, especially for Bosa, or calling a lot of bad calls on him, which has been sucking. So simple message from him to all the refs: do your job, I guess. So yeah, hopefully that ends up working out. And then to end on some miscellaneous news, yes, Mark Hoppus went to social media the other day and related to everybody that he was cancer free, and today was an amazing day, so that's freaking awesome to hear. Thankfully he was able to get through it. Thanks to anyone and everybody who prayed and said anything good, sent any good vibes towards him. So definitely happy to hear that news the other day. And then this Australian website or something did a report on the Killer's song Mr. Brightside, how it can be a song that lasts like forever. I've always mentioned, I always thought that that was the Killer's best song and probably the song of a generation. I always thought, just because it's been around forever. It's technically been around since like 2003 when they released the first single. It didn't do well in the US, but once they released their full-length album the next year and they redid the song as well, it wasn't even the first single, it was the second single after Somebody Told Me You Had a Boyfriend. And then it became one of the bigger hits and still is. It was on a couple TV shows and they played it live at, sporting events. And yeah, it's really big, even still to this day in Europe. It's still on the charts in Europe, which is crazy. A lot of playlists like Spotify and anything like that, it's consistently played, and it's still like on music lists when it comes to the Down Under Australian charts as well. So yeah, hopefully it can stick around. I definitely believe it will. It is a great song, even though it literally is the same verse twice. Yeah, it's definitely a lot better than the demo they put out first, but I'm definitely happy that it's getting the recognition it deserves. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Bye down.